Okay, so one of the times I fucked up my life, I had my so have you ever seen somebody with two like things on their ankle? Like they have the home monitoring device, and then they have another one. Some people are like they think they're on like double house arrest, like double jeopardy or some shit.
I
But
know.
no, the other one is an alcohol monitoring bracelet. So if you don't know what that is like a thing that's attached to your ankle, and it'll just go like, and it reads your skin, and it reads it every 30 minutes. So I had one of those things on. I fucking hated it because it was summer, and I had to I was ashamed of it, so I'd cover it with jeans, so I was hot everywhere I went. And then every time it went off, like when I was at work or something during a meeting, it would go, and I'd like grab for my pants, like my phone was vibrating. Like it would be like, turn your phones off, and I'd be like, shit, it's gonna go off again. But so, anyways, so I had it on
because I have to really. I need to absorb this. This is really good for me.
Oh, if you have to absorb this, you better like brace yourself.
I need this right
now. Okay, so like I had it on just for a little bit, and I really super wanted to drink. It was going on. I wasn't doing any recovery, just totally white knuckling it, and I wanted to drink. So the first thing I did was I went to Google. I typed in how to get past the ankle monitoring bracelet, and what Google does, the first thing that comes up is they give you a bunch of like stuff for like, do you need to seek treatment or something?
Yeah, the caption number.
The sponsor.
No, that's not clearly what I'm not doing here. So anyways, I went to Bing because Bing doesn't give a shit about your life. So I went to Bing and I Binged it, and I went through. There was all these forums of all these degenerates and stuff like that. And there's one word that came up over and over again.
Baloney.
The word was lunch meat, and I didn't know anything about it at the time. So I was like, when I saw that word, I was just like, Jesus, David, you have to go to bed now. There's no way you can do this. Like, do not look into this shit.
Was it specific type of lunch meat, David, or did they say a specific? What did they say? Just lunch meat in general, or were there?
It was a bunch of people. A bunch of people were just saying lunch meat. All right.
That's okay.
So the funny thing is, like, this is me. If I fuck this up, I'm going to jail. So I'm entrusting the likes of like people on Reddit and shit. But when I read about it, I'm like, this is so stupid. What, you're just going to pack lunch meat on your leg? And I'm going to keep drinking, by the way. I'm not just going to have like one day of drinking. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to go throughout my life just with like a thing of lunch meat, like literally packing lunch meat. And then like, what happens if I go to a dog park? The dog smells it and takes it. And like, what, I go to jail now because the dog took it? And I could easily get drunk and like halfway through the night be really hungry and just like rip off a piece. So in my head, I thought like this was so fucking stupid. I'm like, there's no way. Okay, this is dumb. This is so dumb. I'm gonna go to bed.
That fucking long, David.
What?
And then you thought about it that long, and then you're like, oh, this is stupid. By that time,
yeah, I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. Anyway, so like 30 minutes later, I'm at the grocery store in the lunch meat aisle. Yeah, because that's the power of obsession, baby. So just imagine this. This is where my life was at. I had my little like basket to hold my handle of vodka because I didn't want to hold it like a caveman holding a club. So I had my little basket with like the handle of vodka, and I'm just staring at the lunch meat, just like questioning where my life is right now.
What kind did you get?
So, well, the thing is, I didn't know about the different types. So I wanted one to match my skin tone. So I was like, honey ham. That's not quite right. I'm pretty white. Like obviously I'm pretty super white.
Can we look at you a little bit?
But yeah, so like I don't know, turkey though. Turkey's too gray. Like I'm not like I don't have consumption or anything like that.
You don't like
definitely not roast beef. That's not like
Black Forest ham.
Rotisserie chicken.
Rotisserie chicken. It has that yellowing thing, right?
Yeah.
So I went with turkey, and I just like. So I'd been to this grocery store a whole bunch of times, and they knew I was a degenerate, like always buying alcohol. But now it looks even more sad. Somehow, like buying a thing that's not alcohol makes it look even sadder because I just have a handle of vodka and just a family pack of like lunch meat. And I know the cashier was just like, "Dude, I never said anything before, but like, what's happening, man? Do you need a hug? Like this shit is bleak." And that experiment lasted because I didn't know that it dries up really quickly. So if I'm going to do this, I have to replace it like every 4 hours.
That's not too bad.
Every 4 what am I going to do? I'm going to set an alarm?
In that shit.
I can never sleep. So I have to have a lunch meat alarm. Like one thing that just goes off and it's like lunch meat time. I'll be at work with a client. I'll be like, sorry, I gotta go like to the bathroom, change out my lunch meat.
I gotta go change my meat.
Yeah, so like with my wallet and my keys, I also now have to have lunch meat with me, like at all times. If I'm gonna do this thing.
The smell.
Oh yeah, you can imagine the smell just is gonna be like after in the summer.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Oh god, yeah, that's another thing too.
What?
Yeah, I know somehow she's. I mean, she had her own problems, but I just like, yeah. What was I gonna do? Because she wouldn't want me doing that, so I'd have to just have like
She
big
could probably
socks. I'd have to have like Birkenstocks that were like really thick to cover. Yes, yeah. There's so many like, yeah. There's so. I didn't think that far into it. It didn't last very long
Yeah,
either.
that you thought pretty far into. I mean,
So you just you fold up the lunch meat and put it between the sensor and your skin.
And you have to use like a lot because it will just like rub against it and like disintegrate. So you need like the thick slices. They now have like the market fresh lunch meat, like the hard carved, like carved turkey now. So oh yeah. So you have to get that if you want to get away with it. It has to be like a Thanksgiving like ham slice of lunch meat to try to do this stuff.
carved it up, baby.
And I didn't ever go with bologna because I was like, that's too on the nose. Like bologna is another word for bullshit. So I was like, yeah, can't do that. But that's so funny. I used to tell this story at like treatment centers that I'd speak at, and every time I brought it up, someone immediately would be like, "Bologna, that's the one." And they would unknowingly like out themselves amongst the others. So I was like, "Oh,
I had never heard of this before."
Oh yeah, so that was the way. I mean, it made sense in my mind.
Scram. Yeah, he had a scram. I thought, yeah, you can definitely fool.
But you'd think the house arrest one would be called scram. Like, don't, scram, don't run or anything. But no, yeah, I had the scram. And so, yeah, after a while, I cut that thing off. And I was just like, we're not doing the lunch meat life. I'm fucked.
So I had to do a breathalyzer like every 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
It was SoberLink was the brand. And like, you couldn't fool this thing really. And there's no readout on it. The only way you know that you either pass or fail it is as soon as it sends the mass text to everybody.
Oh, shit.
Pass or fail. Well, I had another smaller breathalyzer that was like my pre-breathalyzer that gave me a readout. And it was pretty accurate. So I had kind of figured out how much I could drink and be out of my system in time to blow in the real breathalyzer. But there'd be a few times I'm like, oh shit, all right, because once you get the notification, you've only got like 30 minutes to do it. Ooh. And so there'd be a few times where I was at like, 0.02 still. I'm like, oh fuck me. I'm not
every 4 hours though? What's happening?
That's what
you're drinking is what's happening.
How are you purging yourself of that?
You have to like, all right, I know I can do 3 shots of this and that's it.
Oh. So then so every 4 hours you're just like doing the nervous like
yeah. Well, and here's what I found out. If you like get your mouth super cold, like sit there and just pack ice into your mouth like the Sonic crushy good ice, get your mouth super duper cold, it will drop a breathalyzer reading 0.01 to 0.02. But you gotta it's gotta be it works every single time.
Now
so I'd be like, all right.
Bad things there.
And so then as soon as like I'm like, all right, I double check it. Like I blow into it, it's like shit, I'm still at like 0.02. So I do the ice thing. Yeah. I blow into it. All right, 0 zeros. I do it again and then blow into SoberLink. Just like,
oh man, you have to deal with like brain freezes and shit. Just what a life. The shit we do, honestly. Lunch meat and fucking like super freeze mouth and
this is a good topic for a show. I don't think I've ever done one like this.
Oh, the stuff we do?
The degenerates.
It probably because sometimes it turns into a war story and it might trigger people. That's
the reason I would tell that lunch meat story at treatment centers is because it's to highlight that the power of obsession, what it does to your mind. Because in that 30 minutes before I went to the grocery store, I went from this is the stupidest idea in the world, I'm not doing this, to actually it was about a 5-minute drive to the grocery store. So it only took 25 minutes.
Right.
Just the way it gnaws at your mind. And by mind you, this was not a drunken idea. This is a totally sober, clear-minded idea. Like, yes, you're going to leave your life up to lunch meat, David. Your freedom.
Well, you're in that state. You're basically already drunk.
Oh
know?
yeah, if you're craving it and you don't do anything about it,
Yeah.
it's like it's gonna run amok. Like it's just gonna ping pong off your head. It's like kind of like Brick Breaker. If you ever play that game where the thing goes back and forth and it like the bricks eventually chip down more and more. It just does that with your brain and willpower. It just bounces across as much as possible. Eventually it just crumbles and you're in a grocery store buying a family pack of lunch meat to handle vodka.
Fucking family
Exactly
pack.
right.
I love that you added the family pack to that.
Well, I had to have some because I had to have backup because I had to replace it. I didn't know I was gonna have to replace it that often though. Oh, and it was just the worst thing. It would tear too sometimes.
Funny.
So it would just have like this paper mache of lunch meat all across my leg, and I didn't know I was gonna shower. I
could sit there. I could see myself sitting there with my phone and be like, all right, shit, I'm at 28 and a half minutes. Let me double check my turkey. Yeah, I might need to throw another slice in.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It was like, oh shit, I gotta run to the grocery store. What, for more alcohol? No, for more lunch meat.
Fuck, I told you to buy the bologna.
Oh, I know. And I know I'm not doing that shit well when I'm drunk. I'm just like, oh God, I choose the slices and just
it's the
like,
worst.
You don't have much room either, so you gotta like really yeah.
Oh well. Hold on one second. I want to look up one other thing. Keep going.
Okay, yeah. Well, the funny thing is so when I was looking up these remedies to get past this scram bracelet, like these are just basically people online. And so like I'm entrusting so much of like my freedom and, like just to like the funny thing is there could be an expert doctor that says something that goes against it, but I want to drink so badly that I'm like, fuck the doctor. I'm gonna trust this Redditor whose name is like 42069er01, like Pussy Slayer 29. I'm gonna entrust my freedom to this person rather than anyone else.
So the funny thing to me is who first thought of that? You know, who was sitting there going like, I'm going to research how this thing works.
Well, what pioneers out there?
Yeah. So you had to sit there and
you have to imagine.
Yeah.
Well, it's in a way like if you were the first person to come up with it, that's actually kind of ingenious if you think about it. Like it's smart on like, let's pretend that you're not actually trying to drink while you're on probation. Let's just say it was like a thought experiment for like, I don't know, it's like smart people. Like you go to Mensa and you go, all right, here are all these smarties. Try to break this puzzle of how if you were like a drunk Stephen Hawking, like a brilliant alcoholic, how would you get past this bracelet? Here's your parameters to work with. Go.
Right.
I'd have to imagine that lunch meat would be pretty far up there.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
well, when I do it at treatment centers too, one of the first questions that come up when I was done, which was not a good sign, by the way, was just the first question was always like, so did it work?
Yeah.
I'd always say, first of all, if it did, I'm not telling you that. And second of all, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it just honestly, because okay, so back to the other thing too, is that if you truly are an alcoholic, which you probably are if you're doing this whole lunch meat experiment, you're fucking yourself, because what are you gonna do? You're gonna drink just once, you're gonna get drunk once and then never again. You've never done that before. That's why you're on probation.
Exactly. I mean, it perfectly highlights just you said earlier, the obsession, but just the things that you will go through in order to not have to do the work to actually get yourself better. You know, you sit there, you will do the dumbest stuff and jump through the most hoops just for those few minutes or that quick little shot of, oh, I'm good now. Oh, I got to do this all over again in 20 minutes. You know?
And the thing is, you also, when you're in that stage too, I always liken it to this. You have such confidence in your future self.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be able to handle all these issues you've now caused. Cause you're like behind the 8 ball now. Like now you're like, you have to work with packing in lunch meat. You have to go to work, or for instance, you have to constantly have you have to go through this whole deal of doing this. And you're just like, future self will be able to take care of that. Even though your future you is going to be drunk as fuck.
That's exactly right. I can't tell you how many times I'd be like, all right, I'm not going to that gas station for a cup of ice because it's too big. And this one down here has got the smaller stuff. I can put more of those. You know?
So
it's so much easier. It's so much easier to just be recovered.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing is though, that right. But you could say that when you're not on probation and like shoving lunch meat down your ankle. Like, just
That's true.
yeah, it's just such as like somebody always, people will say it's like having a full-time job. I would say it's not even that. It's like having a toddler.
Yes.
You constantly have to be aware and like nerf things and like safe proof it, and you have to feed it, and it's loud on airplanes. Like it just causes like you have to be hyper vigilant or just constantly doing something like driving safe or like lying or yeah. And never a thought to like, can I not do this? Because that doesn't enter your mind. It's only what am I gonna have to do now to keep up with it.
Exactly.
I love it.
Huh? You like that? What you got, Lindsay?
I'm still thinking. You guys go ahead. I'm writing something.
No. Come on now. You've had David talking for 15 minutes. We're waiting on you. Let's go.
What's it got to be about me? It's always about me. Let it be about someone else for once.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I have I don't know if we want to keep going on the things that we do, but
we could turn it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Don't you? I love that Zoom thing. I was going to say one thing is that not only the things you do, but the amount of lying to where I would actually, I'd almost start like not understanding my own reality because I just had so many lies life, and then I'd have real life, and I couldn't even keep up with what was I actually doing, and then I couldn't remember things that I actually did because I had to remember lie things where I was at.
Right.
So if I needed to recall things, I'd have to slough through the lies I told or the actual like memories, and usually memories are easier to keep up with. However, if you're on drugs and alcohol, your memory's not super good.
Yeah.
So then you just have like,
one of the things we talk about all the time is perspective and perception. And so when you're constantly lying, like you're constantly changing your perspective, because here's me trying to tell the truth on everything, but I'm also coming at it from this angle because I've got lies on everything. And so shit, which one was it? Am I looking at it from straight on or looking at it from the side on that story? Oh yeah, this was the lie. You're constantly shifting back and forth, and you're not designed to think that way.
Well, it would shift my perspective on morality too, because at a certain point, I would say, okay, there are moral lies where I lied about like taking care of my taxes or something, and then there's what I call maintenance lies. Those are bad lies because I have to do my maintenance to keep up with it. And so many people would just be like, "Why'd you lie about drinking?" I was like, "Well, because if I told you about it, you'd tell me to stop." So no duh. Like at a certain point, the audacity of you to ask me when you know I'm lying.
Exactly.
And I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody where you have that weird sort of like thing where they know you're lying and you know that they know you're lying. And basically they're like, they're what I would call like courtesy lies. Like I'm going to lie to you just to have the courtesy to not just be like, yeah, I am drinking. What of it? At least in my mind.
Yep.
Ooh, that brings up a good, my thing became eventually I would hide it in the beginning to not get in trouble because I didn't want to hear the bitching from my parents or whatever, because that's where it started. And then the boyfriend I was doing shit with, whatever, that doesn't matter. But I was always wanting to do more. So that's where my lying started coming in. And then it got to the point where it's like, yes, I'm doing this hard D-rug. Yes, I'm doing this. Yes, that is a bag of whatever that's on the ground. And that's it. It was like, that's how hopeless I was. It wasn't that I was cocky. It was that like, there's nothing left. It was like, I was on my way out, I think. Does that make sense? Like it was, there was no, and it freaks me out to say that now because I don't think I just realized it until just then that's what was really going on. It was like, just like the same thing of, when I would go to prison is because I was a blacked out alcoholic that would mix various substances with it that would intensify times 10 and plus more other pills. And that's very deadly. And
yeah. Well, I mean, you nail it right there, because the reason we lie is the same reason we used in the beginning. There's something there that we're still trying to protect.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where you're like, you know what, fuck it, you're not telling the truth because you're trying to get out of the hole. You're just like, there's no point in lying because there's nothing worth saving or protecting anymore.
Say that one more time. I missed it. Say it one more time.
So saying, if you're lying, it's because there's something you're trying to protect, whether it's your ego or something. There's something there that there is a purpose for the lie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you stop lying, it's for one of two reasons. You either have had a massive shift in your psyche and that you want to get better, or two, you've now come to the conclusion that there is nothing left to protect.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. Well, and I'd be so bad with lying, like kicking and screaming to not get to that point where I would lie about the truth. And what I mean by that is like, you know how sometimes, I don't know if you ever did this where, because I did a lot where almost all my significant others, especially ones I had long-term relationships with, they're all sober or normies or whatever you want to call them.
Really?
So, yeah. So I had to do a bunch of lying. So I would do that thing where I would have like 2 stashes. So if I had to admit to one,
it's right there.
All right, fine. You got it. You're so good. You should be a detective or something. You're so good. And then
you amateur.
So I would do that with my lies to where I would unveil some of the truth.
Yeah.
Even some of the truth is so harrowing that they'd be like, okay, that's got to be the truth. And I would still hold on to like other things too, just because I couldn't fully give in. Because if I fully gave the whole truth, it would be so overwhelming that it's just like, okay, you have to do something. Because basically what you're admitting to is a life of like slow suicide.
And once you admit it, it's over. You're done. You could admit what my goal was. I will admit a little bit. I will say I have a plan. This is how I got out of the psych ward all the time. Like I knew how to play the game. Like I'm not stupid, like I'm not crazy. But when you are doing crazy drugs and you're acting crazy, you are treated like a crazy person. And, going in there and getting locked up in there is like, all you had to do is, my plan, I realized what I did wrong. My plan now is to get back and get on my medication. I'm just like saying stuff that I know that the doctor, and they let me out every time. It's like, on a 72-hour hold after doing certain things. It's like it's like so much to even explain. I don't even know how to say it right here, but it's just like they don't know what to do with all of us, like I convinced them that I just used too much. I wasn't trying to like to myself. I just was an addict. Like I just didn't want to stop. And the thing is too, is like when I came into treatment and then to the various 12-step fellowships and non 12-step fellowships, and I heard people say some crazy shit like that, and I said, God damn, me too. And that is one thing that really, 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 really helped me to feel like I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not a piece of shit, because guaranteed, even between us 3, we probably done a lot of similar things. And the thing is too, is a lot of people that haven't gone through a lot of the stuff that we have and had the weird thoughts, and we laugh about stuff. They're like, what the fuck? That's not funny. Going to jail? That's not funny.
Well,
yeah, it is.
We laugh at the absurdity of all of it.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly. It's not funny at all. It's funny because it's so different than who we really are. It's so ironic to think of how that could even be true.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
Well, I was going to say one thing about the piece of shit thing. Now, this is not good. Like I also have a problem with self-love and everything like that. But there was a certain point where I would say to myself, like I'm not a piece of shit or anything like that. But then I'd come back to the idea that I have that I think is somewhat true. It's like, if anything, we are our actions, because people can't see our intention. So like, for instance, if I like really truly intended to fix like your like the electricity in your house, and I super fucked it up. I can't, no matter how much I intended to do well, I can't say I'm a good electrician. And so I would like, there was a part of me where I get it. I get like the idea of it being disease, or to get like, you're not choosing to live this awful life. But at a certain point, it was just like, David, how many times are you going to be a completely selfish, shitty person, but keep telling yourself that you're not? And I'm not saying anybody out there that's still struggling and still in active addiction is shitty, but there was this point where it was too much cognitive dissonance for what I was doing. I think at a certain point, it was like, okay, to truly not be shitty, you now need to actually try recovery, because there's no more saying that you're not. Like, I would be if not. It's like, that doesn't matter, because all your actions are doing the exact opposite of what your thought of you is.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you guys a question. Can you hear me very well?
Yep.
Can you hear me very well?
Yeah.
I want to know right now the genuine truth. What do you think of yourself? Who are you?
Ooh.
Are you a good person? Genuinely, I want to know, because I want to know. For me, I want everybody to know. And this is something that's been on my mind quite frequently again.
Yeah. You want to go first?
No, because I'm contemplating it. That's why I'm asking for where you guys are at with it, because it's.
You thinking you're not a good person?
No, I know I'm a good person now, but remember, even Adam, when was it that I was crying to you? Like, what, a couple months ago, saying like, I feel like I'm not a good person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like when I get into those temperamental, emotional states to where I can't emotionally regulate because I'm in fight or flee or freeze, those come up in that time. And since then, I've been able to level out and use a lot of the tools that I've learned, you know, the box breathing and things like that, and everything that we talk about in recovery and talking to others, and a lot of it has lessened. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, what do you really think about yourself? Like, do you love yourself? Like, do you like yourself? Can you stand to be with yourself all the time?
I would, for me, like, I would say that I am capable of being a good person, because I am also a flawed person. I have an affliction that causes to, like I said, you know, if we're talking a good person, like in my realm, I'm thinking a good person to others, right? So it doesn't matter like what I again attend or what I want to be or how I picture myself or even what I might be in, like what I am inside. Inherently, I'm not a good person because of the affliction I have. I'm a neutral person. I have the capability to do good. And so I have to put forth effort to be a good person. And that effort is to be sober. But when I am sober, I have like, because one thing I found out when I got sober was that I thought once I get sober, it's going to be great because I'm finally going to be able to do all these things and I'll have like this immense handicap lifted off of me. And then I found out, oh no, I'm not like super awesome. I'm just me. Like I'm just me when I'm sober. So what do I do with that? And so I have the capability to be a good person, but inherently I'm not. And I know I'm not supposed to think that because every therapist has always told me, no,
Right.
you have to love yourself. And the thing is, I will also say every human has value, no matter what. They're inherently valuable, but whether they're inherently good, I think is a different story. That's my 2 cents.
Ooh, I like that. Sounds like something little Adam would say over there. Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I'm trying to think about.
Very wise. And I want to answer Rose real quick too when you guys are done.
Oh, go for it.
No, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I already interrupted you. God, I am worse with that.
Yeah, what's new? What's new? Come on.
At least I didn't fall out of this chair.
Do I think I'm a good person?
All those questions. That's more than one question though that I asked. That's the easiest one to answer.
All right, so ask it all again.
What did I ask? I said, Do you like yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you think that do you genuinely think that you are I don't know if good is a good, I don't like good and bad as a.
That's where I was going to go.
Oh, is that what she was going to do? You know me too well.
So yes,
explain to me
over the last 2 years, I have learned that I do like myself, and I have learned to love myself. It's been an interesting spiritual journey that I've been on, but I know now that fundamentally deep down that the person that is inside of me is, I would say, good. That would using my definition of good, but is genuine. Is nothing but love. And it took me realizing that the definition of love, or at least the one that I can grasp and understand the most, is that love has no agenda and no record of wrong. Yeah. And so once I could wrap my head around that and apply it to myself, then I was able to love myself and forgive myself for my past. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that all my decisions are perfect by any means. There are things that I still do that I'm like, dumbass, what'd you do that for? But yes, from a like and a love, I would have to say yes to all those. Now, as far as good or bad, I agree with David there that we all have the potential. And you reminded me of something that Jordan Peterson says about, being the beast. Have you guys heard that clip from him about being able, does he call it the beast? The monster. Yeah. Becoming a monster. He's like, what makes good men good is that they have the capability to be powerfully awful, powerfully bad.
True.
But they have that on lock. They have that under control. And so there are parts of me that I know after lots and lots of reflection and deep diving and discovery, there are parts of me that are capable of imagining and thinking and dreaming up and doing some really heinous things. But at the same time, I know that that's nothing that I would ever actually do. That's just my brain. That's just how we as humans operate. The difference is some people choose to, and some people choose not to. So I don't think it took me a long time to understand the fact that having those thoughts and having these things where I could be like, I could really fuck that guy up right now. I used to think that made me a bad person. But what I realize now is that that's a completely normal thought to have, but I choose not to act on that thought.
Can I play? This might be kind of long. It says 11 minutes.
Oh, is it the Peterson thing?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
it's what?
Just to remind you, if your ADD is off. That one person you want to get.
Can you handle 21 seconds?
Go for it.
All right, before anybody gets on my dick again.
I'm trying to be helpful. I'll never try to be helpful again.
I'm just fucking with you. I'm never helpful, so you don't ever have to worry about it. But I do like the longer one, so you know what? Maybe I'll look for the longer one.
No, play it. Can you share it? You gonna share it?
You just dance off now?
I would not support that shit.
What was
that? You're not gonna play it?
You're like, I'm a loser.
I think she's in her own world now.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Absorb what? You're getting weird over there.
You want to get really weird?
Oh my god, my child has been saved. I can't. I'll get in trouble or something because these people crazy watching me. But you guys already know. I told you. He's been saying funny things that he's been learning at school. Okay.
So you gotta share your screen? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Waiting on you. Come on,
Yeah,
Maestro.
let us know if you want us to damp.
I want the longer one.
No, don't play 11 minutes.
Yeah, I want the longer one because it makes more sense.
11
No,
minutes.
somebody's gonna watch that for 11 minutes.
11 minutes is a long time.
7 minutes.
7 minutes is also long.
Minutes. Okay, this is
21 seconds is pushing it.
Okay, I think you're right, you dirty bitches. Oh, this is a different one. Okay, I'm gonna cut this bitch off when I feel like it. Okay, how about that?
Remember, the people came here to see us, or maybe just you. And
Yeah, right. They don't give a fuck.
They didn't come here to see an 11-minute video of.
A lot of people don't like Jordan Peterson because they think he's political, but you guys, he's a psychologist.
Brilliant psychologist.
Right. He has. I feel he's gone off a little bit crazy just because of all his stress and his own addiction. You know.
Oh yeah, no, and I don't think he's a real addict, but he got addicted to those. I mean, those benzos are a motherfucker. So you guys, please, my videos, you know, just like I had a political person on yesterday, and I will continue to have political people on, that has nothing to do with the message. And when we us versus them, because of what they believe in their political, we're totally outing them of what good they're doing. And so it's really it's not okay on my channel to do that. If you want to, I will just, you know, you can be heard, but I'm gonna unheard you by block you because it's really, really immature. Because this is valuable lesson stuff, and it doesn't matter what people think. We're not always right. I'm not right about everything. So like, let's learn from each other that this is what this is. This isn't a goddamn echo chamber.
That is one trend I see in some people in recovery, that for whatever reason they like glom onto a new political identity, and all of a sudden they go from being this person where they fully admit that I was like this homeless crack addict who had nothing to offer, but now they know the world completely and how everyone else should live the world.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the thing is too, it's like, well, so it's like so political right now, and that's fine, and it can be political, but it doesn't need to be like that. When this is substance abuse, this is just like the one yesterday Kate Monroe said, and Kevin Dahlgren, this fentanyl, this drug problem, this is bipartisan. Like this is not one side of the aisle. This is everyone. This is our kids, these are families, this is everyone, and it's not going to stop. So if we're going to do the ad hominem attacks about someone that is talking about things to try to better, you know, maybe help our children one day to not die from drug addiction, or how to be, you know, how to protect their family, like, yeah, so whatever. I'm done.
Well, yeah, as someone in recovery, you learn about like the inherent value of others. So it's like, you know, you'll forgive people who have done horrendous things in their addiction, but because they like vote for a person, you're like, all right, that crosses a line. It's just like, this person killed someone drinking and driving, and you're all right with that. But it's like, no, they said this about crypto or something. I don't.
They didn't even know half the time, and that's what's kind of weird. And so it's a whole. I'd like to do a whole video on that, and I know like Chris Shelton does too. But and Adam, I know you're informed with that, but that's something that gets me going, because we want to hear don't want to hear the mess. We want to hear the message. We want to hear the message. What is this saying? Don't look at him if he bothers you. Okay. But he's right, because he's talking about Young, right, Adam?
Who's that? You talking about Peterson?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about in the clip, he's talking about what he tells young men, yeah.
No, but Young is who?
Oh, you're just Carl Young? Yeah.
Yeah, Carl Young.
Yeah, Peterson's very much a young guy.
Yeah, he's really good for that. Like, I would say even if you didn't like him, if you could just grin and bear it, he's really well.
When you find some of Jordan Peterson's stuff where he was still in the classroom giving lectures, they are just phenomenal. The stuff where he's in his like 7-piece suit, buttoned up, real looking nice and pretty.
Yeah. He's smart.
kind of regurgitating a lot of the same stuff, but his stuff when he's lecturing students that looks like it was, taped in 2000 is amazing.
Yeah, he's really good with that, and he's good with splicing the Carl Jung things with different topics and issues. Like whether
one of my favorite ones is his lecture on Pinocchio. You guys seen that?
No, but
you need to watch.
You just told me to watch it.
Yeah, just type in Jordan Peterson Pinocchio lecture. It's phenomenal.
Y'all ready for this? Let's see if this is a good one. Wait, oh shit. I didn't share it, motherfucker. You gotta stop cussing.
That'll be the day.
You guys just fire me now. Fire me from my non-existent company.
Hit present.
Man. There's only 66 people in here. You guys don't like me anymore? Come on, share. Come and join us. What is today?
He's the 15th.
It's because of Peterson. They don't like it. We got to be open. Okay.
Was there a huge drop off because of that?
You can play the clip or not?
I can't find it now.
Okay. Again.
Oh, here.
Teeing this up and
it went to Jocko. That's why.
That's all right.
Ooh.
All right, find the 11-second one. There you go. That looks like a short one.
Which one? This is 9.
No.
This is 8.
No, one of the shorts. There you go. One of the shorts.
Those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed, will inherit the world.
Yes.
And that's another thing I've been telling. Yeah, no kidding. That's a lot different, man. That's a big difference. It's so great. And so, like, one of the things I tell young men, well, and young women as well, but the young men really need to hear this more, I think, is that you should be a monster. Because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no, wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it.
Do you know the expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war?
Right, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. Those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed.
What do you think?
So
you should be a monster. Those who have swords and know how, you should be a monster. Because everyone says, well, you should be harmless.
Is this the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
if you're harmless, you're not virtuous.
You want to watch a couple more?
I mean, I think that sums it up pretty well, right?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, he has like really long talks about it. It's very, very, very good.
So my point of bringing him up was it took me discovering that and understanding that principle and applying it to my own thoughts and my own internal monologue to understand that, that's not bad. It's not bad. And when I say, these thoughts, I'm not talking about going out and doing something just evil. I'm talking about things that I would think about as in reactions to violence or something like that. You hear about somebody like, what was it, a couple years ago in New York, people doing the knockout game where they're just walking up and knocking people out cold cocked. And I'm sitting in my first thought would be like, man, if I saw that in real life, and this scenario would play in my head. And, I was always like, dude, that's so not who you're wanting and trying to be. But then what I finally realized is like, that is a perfectly normal thought to have. The difference is you have the capability to act on it, but you have that control. That's not something that is just an irrational, reckless response.
And I would say, I think one thing that might get misconstrued in this is that like life is not made up of very many big moments like that, like a big moment to stand up to somebody in some sort of way, or like a big dramatic thing where like it takes a lot of like courage in that moment. I think like if being a monster, maybe people misconstrue that, like, but
right.
it's fighting these little hard battles that happen all the time. Like to have the fortitude to like still treat somebody that is annoying the fuck out of you kindly, like to not engage in road rage, you know, like to like with your kids or with other, like to not join in hatred or something when it's so easy to do. It's so easy to talk shit. I actually like it way too much.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
those are just as difficult as like standing up, you know.
Exactly. Like I bite my tongue a lot because I know that I can cut somebody down very quickly and effectively, and to the right, if it was the right person, the right scenario, it would be like an emotional triggering event for somebody. And that's like, I'm not going to do that because I'm not that person.
It's hard.
Right. And like we just talked about, like telling the truth when it's difficult. Like everybody loves like talking about being honest, but when it comes to those like really like hard times where you have to risk having people not like you that wouldn't like you if you didn't. Like there's going to be people in your life that don't like you. But to have people like to actively choose to do the right thing when it's going to have people not like you, like that's something that's being a monster, because it's so refreshing for somebody to actually take on dislike when they could have avoided it.
I never thought of it that way. That's that's my situation right now.
Like, because the thing is, I always respect people that do that, and I don't ever like think about why do you have that profound respect from them, because you know it's hard. So why not like apply that to yourself? Because it's like sometimes it's easier to be the likable person, even if you know you'd feel better like with your own self-respect. But just to be liked, it's so hard to not. And being liked isn't about like going out and like going along with the crowd. Sometimes it's just going against it.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to join into the shit talking, but like there's a point maybe like at work or amongst others where you know you should actually maybe say something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is. It's taking the risk. Taking the risk to potentially not be liked. And that's what it is. It's on this hand, is it, well, I could be liked. I could be liked because I'm falling in line with all these people, but I don't really believe what they believe in. And do I want to sell myself short? This is how I see it. Do I want to be a part of this group that I'm looking around and I'm like, no, these people are, I don't even know how to describe without saying very nasty words, but inauthentic is probably a nicer one to say, but people will do anything for $1 sometimes. And I'm not saying everybody, but how many people are like that? But then, you know, it's so, when I'm making my decision of like what I was going to do, it was like, what did we talk about, Adam? Adam helped me make this decision. I don't know Dave, if I told you, but it was like, on one hand, we kept saying this over and over for months. It was months we were talking about, like 6 months. No, longer. We were talking about, well, on this hand, you do that. What do you risk? You feel congruent. You feel good about yourself because you're telling the truth. You're telling about what happened to you, what this person did to you, you know, the A word. In many forms, you're coming forward and telling the truth, and you're not keeping it as a secret anymore. You're not letting yourself be abused, and you're not letting yourself stay there and then running back to it when that person wants you back to control you. You know, it's a narcissistic, you know, potentially, allegedly sociopathic type traits relationship. And I'm not talking bad about him. It is just the way that it is. And the thing is that people don't understand is when I'm talking about myself, I was involved with someone for that much time. I'm allowed to talk about someone that I was that close with, you know, that, you know, I don't want to say it again, but like to where there was even almost a child, you know, like there was a lot going on and a downplaying of it. And the thing is, I'm getting over it now because I'm starting to fully, by talking about it to other men and to other women, I'm starting to see the whole picture of like why it was so wrong and why did I allow that to, not saying that I allowed myself to be hurt or, you know what I'm saying? But like, why, what is the lesson here? Because these are patterns that continue through life. And it starts just like with Stock Snipes said yesterday, it starts with the dad, not like dad abusing me, but because of the attention, and then this, and then it's all the attachment theory, and it can all be summed up together, and people will be amazed once they start learning. But the thing is, like, going through all that, like, I feel a sense of freedom now, and I wish everyone the best that wants to get help and wants to heal. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sit here and lie and say I wish these people the best when I don't. I wish them the best if that's what they want, if they want to do better, because everyone can do better. I could sit here and say, I'm going to do better, or I'm going to blame this on you. I'm going to be the victim. I'm going to do this. And what is it for? Like, us three, like, what has happened to us? Some pretty crazy things, right? Self-inflicted or not, and mostly self-inflicted for myself, right?
Yeah.
But what did we do? We just didn't stop quitting. Like, I relapsed. I got my ass back up. I relapsed again. I got myself back up. You guys did the same thing, I'm sure, from what we had said. And like, that's all that matters to me is, you know, people are going to come into our life and they're going to teach us. They're going to be here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Not many for a lifetime, I assume, but you know, you never know. And people are there to teach us lessons. People are there, and I don't like when people say that to me. They piss me off, but they're correct. There are lessons that I needed to learn. I need to learn that helped me grow. Everything that I've been through with addiction and everything like that, I was like a little princess before that. I didn't know what hard work was. I didn't know how to be, you know, I didn't know how to be a real person and how to be a genuine hearted person to do things. I mean, I did, I just didn't know how to bring it out, and like how to love my neighbor and how to have true friends. Like, I didn't know what a friend was. I didn't have a friend. I didn't want a friend. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to go off and on about myself, but just like so many things I've been learning, because you've met me in the past week mostly, but Adam has been there for months and months and seen, I mean, what has the transformation been like just from what you've seen me? Everything that is on here is real. I don't put on a show.
Your actions now from this whole last few months are allowing you to be in line with your values.
Congruent.
So, and that's where our judgment of how much those are in a line is where self-esteem comes from. Mm-hmm. So if your actions are so far out of line with your values, you're going to see that. And whether you're conscious of it or not, you know that something's wrong. And that's where poor self-esteem comes from. And so when you change those actions to be in line with values, which is what you've done through everything the last few months, it's allowed you to bring all that back into alignment. And so, yeah, you can definitely tell a difference.
I mean, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, that the key point about that self-esteem thing is like some people ask, what's the difference between self-esteem and self-worth? Sometimes they're used like interchangeably, yeah. But the difference is that you have to have like self-worth is just understanding that as a person, even when you are doing crappy things, even when you're stuck in something, even like that you deserve it. Like self-esteem is more about what you were saying, when things are aligned with the way you think you should be and what you actually do. We were talking about that earlier, yeah. The idea of like, I'm not a good person no matter how many times I say it was, because I'm still doing bad behaviors. But like that self-worth, I think, is why it's so difficult, because I was stuck with it. I still fight it, where I still, you know, you could think of this as a societal viewpoint, or you could think of it as a personal viewpoint. Like, I don't know if I struggle with everyone having self-worth. I know inherently I should believe that, but if I actually, like, if you put me to a lie detector or like sodium pentothal where I have to tell the truth, if I just had to say everyone is worth it, everyone, I don't know. Some people do pretty awful things, but I've also done awful things. I think the difference is that what's been so hard for me in dealing with somebody that like I struggle with is abuse. It's so hard, and I know it makes sense conceptually, but to think of their bad doing as a manifestation of their suffering. So you were talking about people that were actually, it's how willing they are to get better. Some people though are so stuck they're not even capable of willing to get better. Like I remember when I was like, okay, there's a certain point where you should get better. And it's just like, who decides that point? Because I would think I was so stuck in it. And I've relapsed like recently, like, you know, like in the near recent part where I've been so stuck where I could say that. But if you were to tell me that same thing when I was in the thick of it, I'd be like, well, fuck you. Just, you're ready for it now. I'm not. So you could say at that point, I was not ready or willing to get help. But was I still at that point a bad person? I think some people would argue not, but
one thing about that too is, are we ever really bad people? Because if what they say is that it's not a moral failing, and then it's then it's a disease, and that's usually hand in hand with the 12-step traditional AA model. And then we have to go into the 4th step, and then we have to go into all these things, and we have to basically repent. They don't call it that. But I am correct. Am I not right? So what I'm saying is like, so how can it be both ways, and the contradictions and saying, so am I bad? Well, something tells me I'm bad because I got a stinking thinking problem. My first thought is wrong. I can't depend on myself for my own thinking. I have to stay around the program all the time. I have to ask my sponsor for advice. Fuck you.
well, I think some people though, I think some people believe it's like in that disease model, even outside of AA.
No, I know. But
No,
but it all does connect though, doesn't it, Adam? I'm gonna have read a book. I'm gonna have you read a book. I'm just being honest. But the thing is though, like, we don't ever want to bash it because we got sober that way. We're not bashing it. I think there's just questions in that. When we ask questions and we want to better understanding of different things like that, then that's what can make treatment modality better. Like, not that we want to change AA, but like supplemental materials that we could add with our clients, you know, like I like to use Smart Recovery on top of AA.
well,
So that's what I bring up.
I see. I would say one thing about that, and sorry if I keep interjecting, but like I have this one thing where I think there's something that's not always known about, like what is the better program or not. Because I think in reality, a lot of people get sober through AA no matter what, because for the most part, it's the only game in town in reality. Like, so for instance, I know I'm from like Cowpoke, Nebraska, but I live in Omaha. The greater Omaha metro area has like almost 1 million people, right? Pretty decent size. Like yeah, I know a lot of people know that. We actually have more people than Miami, but Miami's more transient. But anyways,
where's it at? Adam has
oh, I was just gonna say, with that being said, is AA is the only game in town. There's only like 2 smart meetings there, and there's only like 3 refuge recovery meetings. I don't know how many Celebrate are, but there's not many. And there's like 400 every week AA meetings.
Yeah.
So if, like, for instance, if your schedule doesn't allow for you to go to that smart meeting, you kind of have to go to AA. You could always do Zoom, but that's not for everybody. So that's just anyway. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. I am halfway done becoming a smart facilitator, trainer, etc., whatever the hell they're called. God, I'm such I gotta stop doing that. They're gonna be like, we're not gonna let you do our meetings if you're gonna say whatever. But a smart recovery facilitator to where I can run the meetings and I get to make my own meetings. So I would love if anybody else was interested. It's REBT, it's CBT. I'll show you guys all this stuff, and it's only like $75, and you can do it online. Do you know how much I've learned? I wish I knew about this. It started in like 94. It's started from Rational Recovery. Remember that book, Rational Recovery?
Mm-hmm.
It was only around for 2 years. People don't understand that's not around anymore. It got diverged with another program. Rational Recovery got diverged with another program. I don't remember what it's called. It was
AVRT, right? Active voice.
That's part of the Rational Recovery. But if you Google real quick, Rational Recovery plus another program aligned forces, and then 1994 those two programs aligned and became Smart Recovery, which stands for God.
Come on, trainer.
Well, no, it's why I can't remember stuff. It's self-management. Help me out, motherfucker.
Self-management and recovery training.
Yeah. And so let me show you guys something. This is the thing too. So many more of my clients, when I did this stuff with them, their recovery kind of took off. Because some people are very opposed to even beginning it. And I would say you're going to that AA meeting. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. Right? And I'm not like that anymore. I don't believe in that anymore. That was in my beginning of my recovery, a year or two sober. I'm like an intern counselor. I think I know everything. And I'm like, if you're not doing it, it's not working for you. It's because you're stupid. I'm exaggerating, right? But I mean, you guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm being funny, but I'm not. Let me get my books. Am I freaking you guys out?
What's that?
What?
You guys out? Are you getting tired?
Yeah, I'm about to go to bed. You can keep going.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
I can always keep going, but I'm always like that.
What time is it?
We'll see what else you got.
Okay,
well, 6 weeks ago, you were asleep at like 8:30.
Yeah, and you know what? And this is your fault that you did this to me. So like, you have to face the consequences. I'm like,
what'd I do?
You told me that if we were going to be close friends, that this is what was going to have to happen. Don't lie about it. I'm lying. I'm a big liar. That's the word on the street. Adam, they say I'm a big liar.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I have too much fun with it. I'll explain.
After we went through that whole spiel about lying, here she is just like blowing shit out her mouth.
Oh, no. The flying monkeys say I'm a liar. It's kind of funny though, because I kind of like the attention.
I still I try my best, but I definitely still lie. It's because lying, it makes things so easy sometimes where I'm just like, ugh.
I will say, I did a separate coaching program a couple of years ago, not related to alcohol recovery at all. And one of the big tenets was just not lying, like stop fucking lying. Like the little lies you tell, like, hey man, how you're doing today?
Smile.
Whatever. Or you say something and you embellish on a story, or you kind of make up details, that aren't really true to help something out. Or, boss says, hey, did you do this? Like, oh yeah. And then you go back to your desk and get it done real quick. Just stop all that. Like, just catch yourself. And it took some time to really you have to go back and go, you know what? That was a lie. I have not done that yet. I'll go do it right now. It's like, I don't know why I did, but I did. So let me go do it right now. And just, and making yourself stop. And once I got to the point where I stopped lying, things got way easier. Way easier than all the little white lies.
The one thing is I've stopped a lot of if not most, the active lies. But the one thing I still struggle with is the one that my favorite little lie, the lies by omission.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like white lies.
The not lie lies. It's not just white lies, because there could be big lies.
Yeah.
I'm barely hanging on. I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Huge lie.
That was another portion of that whole module about lying was, you got lies of commission and lies of omission. And lies of omission you don't really think about. You just let them happen.
Right, because sometimes they're lies that are things you didn't say, where I need to tell somebody about what's going on, and I'm not doing that.
But how do they know that I'm lying about it if I didn't say it?
That's why there's the easiest ones to keep.
Right.
How can someone accuse me? Sorry, this just happened.
Until somebody finds out from a third party, then they can present it to you. But that's why it's so hard to stop, because you have to police yourself.
Or they'll never find out, and that's the whole point of why they're so like attractive to do, because it's only on your end to say something about it.
Well, what does that go down to? It goes down to integrity, right?
Yep.
Isn't it? Because you know what? When I lie, I don't feel good at all, man.
Oh, because your actions aren't aligned with your values.
I don't feel good at all. And then I feel like I don't, like, it used to be so easy for me to just like lie, even sober. I could like lie to you straight in the face and like tell you like.
And you know what? At the same time, your actions weren't aligned with your values. You know why? Because you didn't value it then.
I didn't value myself. Yeah.
I don't think it's always about integrity, because there'd be times where I'd lie, but I do the omission thing where I wasn't saying what's going on in my life. And I didn't think of it as not being not having integrity. I thought of it as, like that. It could come back to a self-esteem thing where
that's kind of a different.
Yeah, I think that's different.
Different animal, in my opinion. Yeah,
because I consider that a lie too.
That's the I'm not worth your time feeling. It's like, why would you? I'm not worthy. Like, I'm not good enough. Why are you even asking me? I'm not good enough for you to care about me.
Or I wouldn't say anything, or I don't believe they'll help me. That's another one.
Well, so lie by omission I would like to say lie by omission would be, let's define that a little bit more, would be
I think a lie by omission. Yeah, exactly. Lying by omission, is like, hey, did you see what happened over there? Did your sister really do that?
Wait.
No, something like that.
Well, see, I messed up when I said it earlier. I said like, hey, Dave, how are you doing? And I said, I'm fine. That's actually just a straight lie. To me, a lie by omission is it's when something that should be presented, when the truth should be there, and you're not putting it there. So you're not actually saying something that's untrue. Like, that's a normal lie, is that you're saying something that is not true. A lie by omission is not saying the truth when it should be presented. So you're not saying anything false.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to tell you guys something too that someone said, and I want to know your opinion. But I'm just trying to make sure that this is fixed on here, because you know how YouTube is super cool.
Super sweet.
It's just super cool, super fucking cool.
Love the YouTubes.
Super fucking. So Adam, I was talking to our new buddy. He's part of our new crew, and Scott needs to get back in the game too. And the other ones that are getting into it, we need to introduce Dave to them. We are going to do this whether you like it or not. I think I'm going to have to be aggressive about this. Okay? And nobody likes someone who's aggressive. But I think that we're going to have to I want our group of sober individuals. Everybody has a sober different one. I want Katie Lane. I talked to her the other day. I want all these creators that have different approaches. Life after meth. Dr. Dallas Bragg. I want he just started a podcast. I want Scott Heathen. I want who else? Stop. I'm being dead ass serious. Like, I got fucking ideas. And Adam, every time I get a fucking idea, I make that shit happen. Like, Captain.
Create.
Yeah. But you're doing it with me. All
right, let's go.
Well, we're doing it. But you're supposed to be keeping me in line. You haven't been keeping me in line the past week.
I don't know anything about
I blame you for everything the past week. You were supposed to be the voice. You know how many? Oh my God, I got to tell you something that I got really mad about. So many people in my group were like, you need to talk to Adam. And I was like, what? I got to talk to Adam, huh? You know how mad it got me? You think I need to talk to Adam? Adam going to tell me what to do? Because he's the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's my BFF.
He does seem like very reasonable.
Oh, Oh, me?
No, he does.
Till it comes to chocolate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you high? I'm not reasonable. I'm reasonable.
Yeah.
I have an alter ego.
The more reasonable one.
Yeah, Shane. Yeah.
Everything exists on a sliding scale.
What was the thing you were gonna say about being aggressive?
Well, there are many things I could say about it. What?
No, you said I have to be aggressive about this thing. Was it already said? Because I didn't.
She keeps talking about she's gonna do a thing and that I'm supposed to make her do it, but
okay.
We haven't established what the thing is yet.
Was it where I said, "Oh, that sounded sexual" or something? So I shouldn't have said that.
No, that was earlier when you said I'm gonna rattle you up. Which is doesn't sound sexual to me.
That on purpose, didn't you?
Sounds like a threat.
Wait, when did I say that?
I think you said that off air.
Guys, I'm not flirting. These are my BFFs. I can
that
say where the
sound like a flirt. If somebody said I'm gonna rattle you up, I'd be like, they are not flirting. I feel uncomfortable.
I'm gonna rally these motherfuckers up.
I'm gonna rattle you up.
We go into the.
It's usually much more explicit.
Baby.
What's that?
We go into the rally.
Going to the rally. We're going to the rodeo, mother.
Streaking through the gymnasium. No.
We're going streaking.
I never did that. I never did the whole like take off your clothes when you're drunk thing.
What?
I used to disappear.
Hold on.
I'd legit disappear.
Me too. Okay.
I'd be like, where the fuck have you been for the last 5 hours? I'm like, I don't know.
You just show up later and just like, what's up, guys? And you're like,
were you like naked and stuff?
No.
Too normal. What about okay? I'm just kidding. But you did the naked thing too.
No, I said I didn't do the naked thing. But I had some people. I never did like so. My sort of like
I'm gonna be quiet.
My craziness of drinking thing was just always let's get as many people together and it was always so welcoming for other people. And they'd be like, no, that's his fucking ex. What are you talking about? Like, no, it'll be good. It'll be good. We'll get everybody.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have fun, man.
It's gonna be kumbaya and everything, and people would be so mad. It's just like, why the fuck did you invite that person?
Yeah, like, and then it turns sour every time. That's what happened with me. I'd be like, come over to my house. We partied, motherfuckers. Like best parties. And it was all like, oopsie. My house.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, David, you invited 20 people in your apartment. It's the size of like a matchbox. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was just like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be good.
Let me read was just, look at what, so ivermectin is my dog. He is my mod. Do you guys like him?
That's how you end up on Girls Gone Wild.
He said that. Oh my God. I remember Girls. Okay. Oh my God. It's story time, but I could get. I'm going to tell you because it's funny, but I probably have to leave the name out of it because I think I don't know if he got sentenced or not or in litigation.
Okay.
No, it's funny. I mean, people, you know about it. Girls Gone Wild. I remember. So like they had the bus. You guys know Ybor, right? Like I know you guys know Ybor, Tampa. Like you get stabbed on the street back in the day. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
I'm like 20 years old. I'm like, yeah, these motherfuckers, like stupid white girl, like whatever. I'm allowed to say that because I said white behind it, so it's okay.
In front of it, actually, but
I'm kidding halfway. Anyways. No, but because it's like it's dangerous. Like I was little young girl, no male accompaniment, and I know more. And we're all like going down, like, yeah, we're drunk when we get there, we're drunk driving and get there, and it's like dangerous. We're like 19, and then I'm sleeping with the owner of one of the clubs, which became the Honey Pot, and then it was Amphitheater. Do you remember Amphitheater and the floor turned? And then the Madden Bowl was there?
No.
You're a loser. Anyway.
I didn't grow up in Clearwater.
It's Tampa. Anyway, so it's like County Central, like the cigars are like big there. And I was just kidding. You're not a loser. Do you accept my apology?
Yes, I do. I was sweating it.
Did you think I was really apologizing?
Got him.
True. Anyway, Story.
Anyway, so what I was trying to say. Oh, they have chickens down there. We should go down there whenever you guys should. They got chickens they got roosters or chickens on the sidewalk. Can someone back me up here? Jesus Christ.
I'm not from your state. I don't know. Like, sure, they have chickens.
No, it's amazing, bro. And then you go eat down there and you're like, chicken, 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 chicken. And my kid loves chickens. I'm going to take him there this weekend. So anyways, there's a Girls Gone Wild bus out there. And they'd be like, yeah, let's go out there. And I'd be like, nah. Bet you thought I was going to say something different, didn't you? Bet you're going to say I was a little ho-ho.
Well, since you said it was a story, I thought you were going to like
letdown.
It was a letdown for you.
Wait, that's it?
Oh, no, there's another story. I have a picture of him, but I don't know if does anybody know legalese?
Legalese, no.
Okay, so like, no, I could share a picture of a celebrity with them, right?
I mean, if it's, I don't know how that works.
It doesn't matter. What? I don't know. You guys are probably getting tired here, aren't you? It's 10:30.
Yeah, we got way off the rails now.
Maybe it's another day.
It's not a wild thing. What's spurring that on? The Girls Gone Wild.
Oh yeah, there's just like
your mom said something about that.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to find the impetus to this whole.
You said you got naked and you got drunk. That's how you know Girls Gone Wild.
I lost interest in the conversation.
Yeah.
It's just media bail.
Well,
I remember when those commercials were on late at night.
It is very Cubano.
The infomercial would just play over and over again, and it was just like, I don't know. It was always on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And it just had the same music to it, and I'd like fall asleep to it, and I would just like they would just ring in my ears to where late at night I'd start to hear the little like the tropical drum thing and the little music to it, even when it wasn't playing. I thought I was going insane. Like Girls Gone Wild was like driving me insane. Dude would play for like 6 hours or something straight.
Really?
Oh yeah, this is way back, and this is when like TV shows like ended.
Yeah,
back
when Comedy Central, turned off at like 11.
Yeah,
there was nothing.
And then you just have like straight up infomercials. People nowadays be like, what? There's just commercial time? What the? I don't even fuck with commercials.
Exactly. Shit's cray cray. Okay, now I got back to the window where I can see you guys. Well, because stop it. You probably just bought a gun.
I'm about to bail.
Me too. I'm tired. Deuces.
All right, later.
Love y'all, party bitches, animals.
Girls Gone Wild. Woo! Don't live that lunchy life.
Yeah, don't.
Lunch meat. Just say no.
But I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Love you.